Hello YouTube, this is Mark from Reloaded, or as some of our clan members like to say, this is Clashing with Uncle, and welcome to our next war recap video where we're up against Harcosok Klubja, and pretty emphatic win on our part, and 95.9% average destruction across their bases, so it was pretty one-sided. Loads of great attacks to show. Let's have a look at their attacks. They did have a dip, triple star attack on one of our Town Hall 10s, which is a dip down from one of their Town Hall 11s. But on the whole, they kind of left a few stars on the board at Town Hall 10, and that same pattern they really struggled at Town Hall 9, mostly with go wipe attacks, which didn't get them too far. On our side, we 2-starred both of their Town Hall 11s, including a hit up by Bananaman to get 2 stars, so that's a Town Hall 10 hitting up on a Town Hall 11. We tripled all of their Town Hall 10s, which is great. So one was Bananaman again with a fresh hit 3-star, one was a cleanup attack from yours truly, and the third was a dip down from Major Hunky, which Bananaman's hit up onto their number 2 freed up Major to hit down on their number 5. So I think it's our first war where we've tripled all the Town Hall 10, so that's a fabulous result. And on the Town Hall 9 side and below, everything 3-starred. There were just 2 that were left behind on the board, and I mean, look, 94%, so it was so close. And even here, it's high 80s, so both only just left behind and everything else tripled. So loads of great attacks to show and talk through. So buckle in, sit down, grab a coffee, and let's kick it off. And we're going to kick it off with this stunning attack from Bananaman on their top Town Hall 10. So square open base design, and we've seen a couple of these. Like what Bananaman's doing here, he comes in with a couple of jump spells on the outside just to make, and a couple of golems. So he's got the wizards coming in behind. He's going to build up a nice wide funnel for his Valkyries here. That's the goal of both these golems and wizards. It's just to take out the buildings to either side of the central section, so that his Valks is going to run right up the core and into the center of the base, where he gets a nice, one of his wall breakers runs forward and takes out the giant bomb, which is nice. But look, nice wide funnel. The Valks go straight where he wants. He gets the CC troops in there. He's got a freeze down. He's got a poison to slow down those CC troops. And the next thing that core of the base, it's gone. He's got a couple of Alps running around the outside. Those wizards are still being protected by the Golemites on one side. He's got both heroes running up the other side. You'll notice he was very patient in dropping his heroes. Quite often with these attacks, I see heroes being dropped, and it's something that I do. I drop my heroes quite early, particularly my king, to help with the funneling process. But I actually think watching Bananaman here, you get much better value by being a little bit patient with your king and letting the golem and wizards build that funnel, because it's just such a powerful tank for your queen, particularly if you haven't got healers, and so if you're not doing a super queen walk. The king does a really nice job of soaking up damage and keeping your queen alive a bit longer. The queen is locked onto that lava hound, so it's going to pop at some point, but there's one cannon left, and so she'll take care of those pops without too much trouble. He's still got her ability up his sleeve, and we'll fast forward here. There's just a little bit of cleanup left to do. Nothing to see here. Move right along. So he does eventually kill those pups, and then it's just a couple of buildings left. Lovely attack. Hasn't even popped her ability, so that's absolutely smashed the base. Lovely to watch. Okay, move right along because we've got a few attacks. Yours truly coming in. This was a cleanup attack. And here, I knew that there was air troops in the CC, and there's just a lava hound, in fact, which is not going to be any threat at all to the Valk. So rather than bring 2 poison, thought I'd bring an earthquake and soften up that center a little bit. Golem in the side, queen on one side, and they're both going to essentially build a bit of a funnel. The queen gets a bit low here. She's being targeted by 3 defenses, so pop the ability. A few wizards, and I see Barbarian King in early, and he does go down, which is so I might try keeping him out, dropping him a bit later in a future attack. But we've broken on the centre section where the main Valk force is going to run into, and in they go straight in. Get the jump spell down, get the raid spell down, get the second jump spell down, the second raid spell down, and a few Valks are split off on one side, but there's enough Valks in the core there to get the job done. The Queen helps pull them through the core, the enemy Queen, and they break out in a couple of different groups to the side of the base. The healers from the Queen have now broken off and are healing up some of the Valkyries, which is lovely. The Queen's just running behind, cleaning up trash buildings, while the Valks are running ahead and taking out all the defensive structures. So that's working out quite nicely. The healers are going to go down eventually, but not before there's absolutely no defences left. So we'll fast forward at this point because it's really just a matter of the Queen running around and cleaning up what little's left. And the Lava Hound doesn't even pop, so lovely. I was pleased to get that because the first attack didn't go quite according to plan. And here we've got Major dipping down on this Town Hall 10, and this was hit by Prodigy in a first attack, which was a 98%, I think it was. So it was so close. And Major just comes in with the mop and gets the job done. So kicks off with a few wall breakers. He's losing a couple there to that Expo, but no big deal. Comes in with a golem on each side, so pretty well established technique here to form the funnel with wizards behind. So just again being patient, letting the wizards and the golem do their job, which is to take out all those buildings at the side. He has attracted the CC troops, and there's a Lava Hound in it, so that is going to pop. But again, no big drama. He's got enough of a funnel built now. All the wizards, he's got his warden, all the heroes coming in behind the Valks, which is it's quite nice to see. The Valks end up tanking for your heroes, which keeps them alive longer. Jump spell straight into the core. There's a rage there. There's jump spell to help them get out again. He's got a second rage spell all the way through. Next thing you know, it's the base is done pretty much. And they've rushed through that course so quickly that look at the health on his Valks. They're still most of them aren't even damaged. So there's loads and loads and loads of Valks left over here. It's absolutely wrecked. We'll fast forward. There's a few defences left, but there's just way too many. He hasn't popped his Queen's ability. His Warden's still up. And I had no idea there's a dozen Valkyries still running around the base. So could have probably restarted with that lot and done it a second time. Lovely attack, Major. Okay, moving right along. Jason's one of our Town Hall 10s, and we tripled all the 10s at this point. So he dips down and takes out their top Town Hall 9, which had slipped through the cracks on our first round of Town Hall 9 hits. Comes in with a couple of golems, 3 golems in fact, and some wizards, just usual stuff, building the funnel, being nice and patient. He used the wall, the earthquakes are ready to open up the base and giving him access to a large part of the base. And I like the patience that he's shown there with the wall breakers. It gives the wizards time to clear out all those outside buildings. Quite often I see people be a little bit quicker on their wall breakers, and what that does is it does two things. One is it gets the golems into the base before the wizards have finished taking out all the surrounding buildings, which means you can't get any other troops into the base because they're going to get distracted by all the outside buildings, and that just means that your golems are taking damage from more defences, because the further into the base they walk, the more things start targeting them without having any troops to support them. So a bit of patience is a good thing there. Let your wizards clear out the trash buildings, then drop your wall breakers, and then drop your troops. But Jace is just rushing through this base, and there's a couple of defences on the outside, but he's got 2 max golems still up. There's a max P.E.K.K.A running around there. He's got some archers down the bottom there, just helping clear out those outside buildings really. Catches a giant bomb there, which is a shame because of all his barbarians from his what's it called? Can't talk this morning. Barbarian King's Barbarian Fist. No wonder I can't talk. That's a tongue twister. but we can already see, this base is done. Lovely attack. Just kind of starts on one side and just methodically works his way through the base to the other side. So we'll hit the fast forward button. It's just clean up at this point. He's got loads of troops left. He's got his queen, who's shooting on a wall just to help out, as she does. She's better than she used to be, but she does still have a little bit of a thing for walls, does the queen. Lovely attack, Jace. Really enjoyed that one. Very, very nice. Okay, let's check out Plan Jennie coming in. A lot of their bases were symmetrical, and that just makes it really easy for the attacker, because you kind of know where your troops are going to go. So she gets the CC lure. I'd have probably been tempted if this wasn't a first hit, and I can't remember whether it was, to take 2 poison and to poison them in a line as they came out the CC. That would have killed both loons, but look, just drop a rage and let your wizards do that. Couple of Valks, or quite a few Valks, run around the outside here, and we'll talk about that in another video on funneling and maybe controlling that, which is kind of see that on a couple of attacks. But there's a bunch of them in the core, a bunch around the outside, and actually there's a couple of wizards following behind, so it's actually working out really nicely, because there's a bunch in the core with the heroes, and that's just taking out the expos and all the rest of it. She's got hogs on the left hand side, taking out those defenses, and on the right hand side of the base there's Valkyries and wizards in behind to take out the defenses, while the Valkyries are taking out everything else in the path. And that's just, it's worked out really, really nicely for her, and very methodical. Look, you start on one side and just work your way through the base. There's a couple of defenses left, but she's still got her queen's ability. She's still got wizards on cleanup. The Barbarian King does go down there, but there's just not enough left to stop the queen at this point. She's level 25 and can take quite a beating at level 25. And in fact, she's not taking a beating at all, because there's still 2 golems running around. So look, it's just it's well over. Pops the ability just to speed things up a little bit for us. Dashes out and pop, job done. Lovely attack, Jennie. Alright, moving right along, we've got still Deercin coming in, and look, another symmetrical base. Kicks off with a couple of golems and some wizards, and nice and patient on his wizards, lets them build a nice wide funnel. I like the fact he hasn't dropped any wizards on those 2 inner outside buildings there. That gives the Valk something to focus on and then rush into the base, so you don't need to take out the buildings right behind your golems. It's all about the ones to the side, and absolutely every single one of his Valks has gone into the core. Exactly what he wanted, and things are just evaporating. When you've got this many Valks, there's a jump spell there to keep them running through, and they there's a brief pause, and then things just disappear. What can you say other than RIP base, really? It's just, he's got his king on the outside, a couple of wizards there, but the Valkyries are pretty much doing all the heavy lifting here. His golem has behaved itself very nicely and has rushed in front of a bunch of defenses and is soaking up the damage, and that's kind of unusual. For some reason on my raids the golem always ends up in a corner on its own, like on the naughty step, and completely removed from all the rest of the troops. But Still's golems are very well behaved, and maybe I should send mine over to him for some extra training. But there's 1 expo left. It's slowly picking off a few things, but he's got loads of troops left. He's got his king and queen ability. He just popped his Barbarian King's ability now. Still got the queen's ability up his sleeve. He's got wizards. He's got a couple of golemites, and his king's still on full health, so he's going to have plenty of health to soak up the damage from that expo. And in fact, it's just popped down, hits the queen's ability, and boom, lovely attacks. Still absolutely lovely. Textbook stuff. Alright, moving right along, we've got Jib coming in on their number 11, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name of the defender here, but again, it's another another symmetrical base. So he's coming in, is popping a few earthquakes just to soften things up a little bit. He's got the golem and some wizards coming down, being nice, opening up the compartment there. Perhaps a little early, but you know, that's all right. I'd have, if it had been me, I'd have wanted to take out that extra elixir collector before dropping the Valks, but the Valks get in. The Archer Queen is going to lure them through that wall, so there's no need for a jump spell at that point. Lovely placement of the jump spell right on top of the Town Hall, and that's going to open up the entire base pretty much to those Valkyries. Second heal spell, all these Valkyries being well looked after. They're all on, you know, pretty much full health, which is lovely. You know, that jump has just opened up the whole base. So yeah, not the best base designs from these guys, but you know, taking nothing away from the attack. That's beautiful placement, and you know, identifying that as a hub spot for a jump spell that's going to give you Valkyries just maximum options. I must say, from having watched quite a few Valk attacks now, I'd say, you know, as a general rule of thumb, it seems to work really well if when you first drop your Valks into a base, you keep them in a tight pack whilst they get into a core or the central, you know, the first main aim, and you know, there we go, job done. So yeah, keeping the Valks in a tight pack when they first go into the base seems to work very well, because it helps them get through to the core, and then from there, giving them as many options as possible just to help with the cleanup seems to work. So you know, if you're taking 2 jumps, then one jump that gives them a fairly restricted option into the core, and then once they're in the core, place your jump spell to just give them access to as many compartments as possible seems to work quite well. But next we've got God's Gift coming in on their number 12, so hitting his mirror here. And speaking of mirrors, here's yet another symmetrical base, and he's coming in with a loon. Lovely base scouting there. He's got a couple of golems coming in with the wizard behind, but you know, that one loon takes out a defense, which is lovely, and it's going to get the CC lure. Oh no, it doesn't. Oh, I would have thought you'd got the lure from there, but anyway. So breaks in a couple of places. He's got his golems down. He's built an enormous funnel. There's only one place all those Valkyries are going to go, and that is into the core. And having said that, a couple of them take a slightly circuitous route, but they still end up getting there. Probably actually does them a favour by taking out the defences in that compartment as well. But there's a Lava Hound in the CC. These guys had a lot of Lava Hounds in the CC. It kind of felt a little bit like we were up against a clan that hadn't cottoned on to the changes in the update, and they were still playing pre-update. And they pretty much all had a Lava Hound in the CC rather than anything else. But anyway, there you go. Valkyrie is just running through. He's pretty much cored the base already. There's a bunch of Valks left at the bottom. He's got his Barbarian King, the Wizards at the top on cleanup duty. He's got both of his heroes' abilities up his sleeve. He's kept a poison in the bag, possibly for some of these pups, but no, pops the Queen's ability instead. That works out for him. He takes the Archer Tower down there. There just isn't enough defences left in the base really. He's got 5 or so Valkyries. He's got his King on full health, his Queens just doing what the Queen does and taking out building after building. One of his golems on the right hand side has been trapped by the jump spell that expired whilst it was slowly beating on a wizard tower. That's kind of what happens with my golems. So share your pain. I just need a bit brighter golems, I think. But Gods is just, all of his troops have converged. They're just going to wreck what's left here. They don't need to watch that. It's kind of its job is done. Lovely attack, just kind of really smooth. And nice to watch too. So up next we've got Faye coming in. Again, hit on his mirror. So he comes in with a hog, he gets the CC lure. It's a dragon and a balloon. We'll fast forward as we draw the CC troops over to the corner of the base, and he just comes in with a couple of archers and some barbs to distract the dragon whilst the archers get to work and do what they do. The poison spell's beginning to kick in there. He's got the loon left, but there's plenty of archers to get the job done there, so that's really, really clean. It's about 8-10 troops space and 1 poison spell, and he's taken out the dragon. And he's going to get extra value from those archers there. It's going to help build part of a funnel, as we'll see in a minute. So he's coming in from the bottom here with his 2 golems. And I suspect the original plan was probably for the Valkyries to come up through that compartment where he's just broken into. But they get a little bit distracted here and run off to one side. However, those archers have cleared enough buildings to actually funnel his Valkyries in, and he is doing a great job of responding to this on the fly. Drops a jump spell down, opens up 3 different compartments, which basically gets the Valks into the core of the base anyway. And very nicely, he's got the heal spell, and he's brought his hogs in behind the Valks, which is actually really nice because the hogs are taking out the defences in compartments that the Valks haven't got to yet, but a lot of the defences are actually targeting the Valkyries because they were there first. So the Valkyries are doing what Valks do best. He drops a second heal spell for his Valks. He's got a bunch of hogs running at the top there, so those defences are just being taken out even faster than if it was just straight Valks. So he's got a couple of Valkyries at the top, just running around cleaning up. There's just trash buildings up there, and he's got an absolute ton of troops left over here. So the base is done. So his queen is just sat in the middle of the base. Guess what? Shooting a wall, as she does. But lovely attack, and just really well thought out and beautifully executed. A slight walk on the Valkyries at the beginning, but actually worked out really nicely for him, and he adapted on the fly superbly. Interesting placement of his elixir DE storage right at the top, but lovely raid Fae. Enjoyed that one very much. Okay, moving along. Got Gods again. 6-star war from God's Gift on an absolute blinder. Another symmetrical base. In fact, it looks quite similar to 1 or 2 of the other bases that we've seen, but we saw quite a bit of that with these guys. So a couple of golems, bunch of wizards building the funnel, the usual stuff, being nice and patient on his funneling, and nice and early placement of the jump spell. That's important because it gives the Valk somewhere to run to freely rather than run off to the sides. So all his Valks go into the core. He's got a heal spell down for them because he's anticipating what's coming out of the CC. He drops a poison for the CC troops. There's a rage spell in there. And here they come, the second heal spell to keep them up, which is always a good thing when there's sea troops around. They can be quite dangerous, particularly dragons and loons. But dashed straight through the base. He's caught that out. He's got most of his Valks look like they're still there. And the king and queen are just kind of meandering along behind, watching the action. Pops his queen ability, takes out a couple of the remaining defences. He's got hogs down the bottom taking out defences. And we're just clean up, and he's still got that golem's only on kind of 60% health. He's got loads and loads and loads of troops up. So we'll fast forward here a little bit as everything comes through, and it takes out the few buildings that are left. And Valks and hogs are both good for that because they're fast. So lovely attack. And up next we've got Andrew, who comes in and bringing the go-ho. So it's not all about Valks, and that's what I love to see. People looking at a base and going, what's the best way to take this base out? And this was a clean-up attack. He'd seen that all the giant bombs were on the outside of the base, which is not the world's best placement. So he just pops in 3 hogs and takes out 3 of the 4 giant bombs in this base. So he now knows that there's pretty much no threat to his hogs. All he's got to do is get a couple of golems in there to just help tank damages from those expo, and the hogs are pretty much just going to run around the base and do what they want to do. So he pops in, drops a couple of golems down, a couple of wall breakers in, comes in at the side with the archer queen, which is always a good thing to do with Goho. Gets the CC pull. He's got a couple of poison spells. He drops a rage down for his wizards and queen. He's got a poison spell to slow down the damage from the CC troops, and the next thing you know, the CC troops are down. And at that point, he knows, his golems are in the center there. He knows it's safe to drop in his hogs, and here they come. And he's done. He's actually taken out half the base before he even drops his hogs. So he gets huge value from his initial kill squad there. And that's one of the benefits of taking a second or third golem is the extra tank. So he drops very nice and patient on his heal spell. So, and lovely placement as well. He's getting absolutely all of his hogs in that heal. And already you can see there's just not enough left to resist it in the number of hogs that he's got. Again, really nice and patient on that final heal. Quite a few going down to spring traps, but still he's got absolute ton of hogs left. He's got cleanup troops around the outside. He's got his Archer Queen in the middle, pops her ability to take out the town hall nice and quickly, and then it's just clean up with people with his troops running around the outside. He's got plenty of troops left to do that. He's got minions, archers, hogs. He's got how many hogs has he got there? He's got an absolute ton of hogs. Yeah, lovely attack, Andrew. Really nice. Okay. Up next, we've got Jib again, another 6-star war. When I can press the replay button, we'll kick it off. So, Valks, just a shed ton of Valks. Why would you need anything else? He says. So he comes in with just a couple of wizards because he's looked at the base and worked out actually there's quite nice places where you can help build a funnel without even needing a golem. So if you can do that, then why not? So he's made a nice wide funnel for his Valks, and at that point the Valks are going to say, well, let's just break through a wall to get to the buildings behind it. Early heal spell, and the funnel is so wide they're not going to run outside the base because there's nothing for them to run outside to. Gets the heal, a jump spell down, but they've actually broken through the wall already because they're pretty impatient, these redheads. Barbarian King's gone straight into the core of the base, helped taken out the defending Barbarian King. There's a heal spell in the core there where the Tesla farm is. There's a bunch of Valks at the bottom of the base. He's brought 6 max hogs in his CC, which is always a nice choice on cleanup. You can drop them in a compartment the Valks haven't got into yet and just help keep your Valks alive a little bit longer. I'm going to catch a double giant bomb, which is a bit unlucky, but they've done their job. They've taken out 3 or 4 defences, and there's now a couple of archer towers left and a cannon wizard tower at the top there. But look at the number of Valkyries he's got. They're just there's I have no idea how many there are. There's probably maybe a dozen Valkyries left. So that the remaining defences are not going to be a challenge for that many Valkyries. He even gets a split on them here. He's got heroes dealing with one set of defences and his Valks are dealing with the other set of defences, and the next thing you know, it's just job done. So there's a little bit of cleanup left to do. His queen's got distracted with that lava hound, as she tends to, and that's going to keep her busy, and it does actually take her out, but at this point there's only 1 building left and there's half a dozen Valkyries, and we all know what's going to happen there. So lovely attack, Jib, and great war. Just really nice. Okay, we've got Eva coming in with a dip down onto a Town Hall 8 with a dragon, a double dap crate dragon attack. This is probably the attack of choice if you have to dip down from Town Hall 9 onto Town Hall 8, is take out 2 of the air defences with a couple of zap quakes, and then you just got 1 air defence left, and we all know what that used to be like at Town Hall 7 with level 2 dragons and 1 air defence, and it's no different at Town Hall 8 with level 3 dragons and 1 air defence. It's it's not really a fair matchup, so it's just being a little bit patient here with getting the funnel. Gets a CC pull. There's the dragons coming in. A couple of dragons peel off and focus on the defending dragon. There's absolute shed ton. The loon placement was a little bit high if she was wanting to target the air defense, but it doesn't matter. They split up a little bit, and there's plenty of dragons in the core anyway. So it's that air defense is going to get taken care of in pretty short order. And down it goes, and then from this point it really is just clean up. Just got the heroes down the bottom doing some cleanup work and taking out the outside buildings. There's Still got some balloons up, which is actually really nice because they're targeting defences that can shoot the dragons, so it's going to help keep the dragons up even longer. And at this point there's no defences left, it's just clean up. She's got no queen, she's got half a dozen dragons or more and 3 or 4 loons, so absolutely crushed it. Lovely attack, Eva. Very, very nice. And up next we've got Zimmer Killer coming in on number 18 with a Valk attack. It's got a couple of balloons just to take out that outlying cannon that's not being defended by any kind of air defense. So he gets that, and he also gets the main part of the CC lure, which is the dragon. If there is a balloon there, it wouldn't have come out because balloons don't shoot air troops. But he gets the dragon out. He's put slightly heavier concentration of wizards near the dragon, which is a good thing. Poison's down to slow the dragon's damage, and the next thing you know, it's done. There was a balloon in the CC, and that's going to come out as well. But with the number of wizards that he's got down there, it's not going to pose a threat, and he's got a nice wide funnel. His Valks go straight into the core. The balloon's locked onto the golem, so it's not targeting his Valkyries. Drops an early heal spell, just to keep his Valks up while they're working their way through the Barbarian King and the early defences. He's got a second heal spell, he's keeping his Valks well healed. They're under no threat whatsoever. He's got a couple of wizards on the outside on cleanup duty. The Valks are tearing their way through the core. Third and final heal spell for his Valks, so they're all pretty much on full health at this point, and the base is, well, it's certainly been cored, and there's a few defences on the outside left, but there's nothing really that's going to threaten the number of troops that he's got left. His Valks are staying nicely together, which is helpful for him as well. So look, the archer tower goes down. Then to use Valks at Town Hall 8 is, I think, really beneficial for people with the current state of the game. Obviously, Zimmer's an experienced player with a Town Hall 10 account, so this isn't like he needs it. But if you've got players in your clan that have just moved up from Town Hall 7, I'd be suggesting or encouraging them to try using Valks once they've unlocked them and upgrade them to level 2, because it's just as powerful at Town Hall 8 as Valk attacks are at Town Hall 9 and 10. It's probably a little more reliable than dragons, because dragons can tend to wander off and do some strange things, and it sits your Town Hall 8s in good stead when they come up to Town Hall 9, because dragon attacks just aren't reliable at Town Hall 9, and they're certainly not going to get you 3 stars. Whereas learning to use Valkyries will serve you well, so it's a good option for people wanting to learn the techniques that they'll be using at higher Town Hall levels. But lovely attack there from Zimmer. Let's move along, and it's Zimmer again, so it's another 6-star war here, and it's another Town Hall 8, and this time he has come out with the dragon. So again, it's about choosing the attack that's going to work best on the base that you're up against. So he takes down 1 air defense with a Zapquake. Obviously, being a Town Hall 8, he hasn't got access to a double Zapquake, but he's got a Rage and a Haste. Haste is a good choice. Drags are pretty slow, so he's got the first Rage down there, which takes out 1 of the air defenses. So he's got 2 down now. He's got Hogs in the CC, and place those in a few of his own Hogs and some max Hogs from the CC. So between those, the plan there is for them to take out the remaining air defense, and that is exactly what they do, even though the king's there. And then they keep working their way through the base. So he's just going to work his way through the rest of the base with his dragons. There's not much left to threaten the number of dragons that he's got left, but they are a little bit slow, so we'll fast forward a little bit just to keep the video slightly shorter than otherwise would be. Yeah, lovely attack. Nicely planned, nice use of Hogs, nice plant scouting to recognise that the Hogs would path where it needed them to go. Yeah, pleasure to watch. Keep it up. Really nice. Okay, and lucky last, we've got Raj coming in on a clean-up attack. So this is Town Hall 7 taking on what looks like a little bit of a rush Town Hall 8. Interesting troop choice to get the CC. He drops a single wall breaker, but it gets the job done. And again, another very strange placement of giant bombs by these guys. So he drops a poison spell down, and a couple of archers, a second poison spell which just accelerates the rate of damage build up on the dragon, and enough archers to keep the dragon stood in the poison, and the archers are helping it along. And the next thing you know, it's the dragon's done. So nice CC, lure and kill. He's got Barbarian King coming down. He's got 3 lightnings. He's kept. He brought poisons for the CC troops, so he's using the old lightning technique. He's building a nice, using his Barbarian King to help build the funnel here, which is quite nice. Pops the Barbarian King's Iron Fist. Nice placement on those balloons. Bang smack between the 2 air defenses, and he just knows that they're going to go to one air defense or the other. They may have split off and gone to the other air defense, but they were bound to hit one of the 2. And so that that's one of the air defenses guaranteed to go down without any real threat, and the other one his dragons have just taken out. So very nicely done. There's balloons still running through the base, taking out more defenses. That's only going to help his dragons, because they are going to start to target defenses that can shoot. They cop a few air bombs, which is even better, and they copped an air mine, which is just an absolute bonus, because that's basically going to keep one of his dragons alive. So great value from those balloons, and great placement on them as well. One of his dragons got distracted by the Barbarian King. They do tend to have short attention spans, these dragons, but we'll fast forward a little bit here because there's just a little bit of mopping to do. And he's got absolutely shed tons of dragons with which to do it. So it's just a question of them scouting through the base and taking out whatever they see. And that one arch tower is not going to be able to deal with that number of dragons. So lovely attack rage, really, really nice. And yeah, great war from everybody. Lots of really good attacks, and so close to getting 3 stars on everything. It was probably, I reckon, our best war performance to date. So hope you enjoyed that one. Lots of good attacks. Hope it's been fun to relive past glories, or helpful to you if you're in your own clan and looking to point people in directions of how to attack for 3 stars. See you on the next war, which we're about to kick off this evening. So good luck for the clan on that one, and clash on.